Hello and welcome to Voice After 50. I'm Beverley. Before I get into today's episode, I just want to say this one feels different to me, more personal, more unfinished, and I almost didn't record it for exactly those reasons. But I think that's precisely why I should. Today I'm not going to give you answers or a framework or a list of steps. I'm just going to tell you the truth about where I am right now. Because I have a feeling some of you are quietly in the same place. One morning there was a moment, and I remember it clearly. It wasn't traumatic, no slamming of doors, no life-shattering event, no big announcement. I was just standing in my kitchen, morning light coming through the window, coffee in my hand, the house quiet, and I found myself leaning forward and pressing my head against the back door, looking outside at the grass, the other side of the glass. And then I looked around at everything around me, everything I'd worked so hard to build, through times that nearly broke me. The home, the routines, the calendar full of responsibilities, the life that on paper now looked solid. And I had this quiet, unsettling thought. Why do I feel so restless? What's going on? This wasn't because things were bad. Not because I wasn't grateful, because I truly was. But because something inside me had shifted, and I couldn't name it yet. What I can tell you now, with a bit more distance, is that the restlessness wasn't a warning sign. It was more like a question my life was asking me, and I still haven't fully answered it. Because here's the truth. I have tried to build a jewellery business. I've sold digital resources. I tried to write a book. I had a cake decorating business. I signed up for a business coaching franchise. I tried building websites. I've sold digital art and t-shirt designs. I've done courses in life coaching, website design and graphic design. And I'm still here. Still trying. Still haven't found the thing. That list exhausts me, just reading it back. And the most painful part? None of it materialised into anything significant. No breakthrough, no moment where I thought, yes, this is it, this is the one. But here's the line that keeps coming back to me when I think about all of it. All of that trying has made me very useful to others. It just hasn't made me any money. I actually laughed when I said that to myself recently because it's both funny and slightly devastating. I have accumulated this enormous breadth of knowledge across so many areas: design, coaching, digital products, food business, creative business. And what do I do with it? I help other people for free because I genuinely can, because somewhere in all that trying I picked up enough to be useful, just not enough to be paid. And I want to be paid really well, actually. I'm going to say that plainly because I think we dance around it too much. I want to find the thing I love so much it doesn't feel like work, and I want it to pay me extremely well. Not a little, not just enough, really well. Because money at this stage of life means choices. It means freedom. It means being able to live fully on your own terms without compromise. That's what I'm chasing, and I haven't found it yet. This episode is about that. About what it feels like to keep trying when you don't know if the trying is leading anywhere. Because I suspect most of us are sitting in this exact same place than anyone is willing to admit. There's a particular feeling I've been living with for a while now. It's not depression, it's not crisis, it's not even unhappiness exactly. It's more like unsettledness. Like there's something I'm supposed to be doing and I haven't found it yet. And the not finding it hums quietly in the background of everything. And what I've noticed is that when that feeling gets loud enough, I do something. I sign up for something. I start researching something. I throw myself into a new idea. Right now, I'm learning French. 3 weeks in and still going. And in that moment, the moment of signing up, of deciding to try, there's genuine relief. because I'm moving. I'm doing something with the restlessness instead of just sitting in it, getting frustrated. The course might not be the answer, but at least I'm not standing still. Does that sound familiar? I think a lot of women at this stage are doing exactly this, quietly, without telling anyone. Signing up, starting, hoping, going flat, then starting again. Cycling through the same loop and wondering why nothing is breaking through. And the thing nobody says, the thing that sits underneath all the productivity and trying, is that it's exhausting. Not physically, emotionally exhausting. Because every time you start something new, there's a tiny bit of hope attached to it. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this is what shifts things. And when it doesn't, you don't just lose interest in that particular thing. You lose a little bit of confidence in yourself. That quiet accumulation of, I've tried and tried and tried and nothing has shifted, is a heavy thing to carry around, especially when you're carrying it privately. When I look back at everything I've attempted, and it really is quite a list, I noticed something interesting. Almost all of it was a product or a service I was making for other people at arm's length. Jewellery I made for someone else to buy, designs someone else would wear, digital resources someone else would use, a coaching franchise built around someone else's system. None of it was particularly me. They were all vehicles, things I thought might work, things that seemed like viable businesses, but not things that felt like a genuine expression of who I actually am. And then I think about this podcast. This is different in character to everything else on that list. This is just me talking, thinking out loud, trying to make sense of things. There's no product, there's no design, there's no system borrowed from someone else. It's just my voice and my experience and my very unresolved questions about life after 50. The jewellery stopped. The cake decorating stopped. The t-shirt design stopped. But every Wednesday, I'm still here. Still recording, still showing up. And I haven't once had to talk myself into it the way I had to talk myself into some of those other things. I'm not saying the podcast is the answer. I genuinely don't know if it is. But I think it's pointing at something. The talking, the reflecting, the connecting. This feels closer to me than anything else I've tried. And that feels worth paying attention to, even if I don't know yet what to do with it. I want to stay with the passion piece for a moment because I think we need to be more honest about what we actually mean when we say we want to find our passion. We're told, and I've said versions of it myself, that if you do what you love, it won't feel like work. And there is truth in that. When you're genuinely absorbed in something that matters to you, time moves differently. You don't resent it. You don't clock watch. That's real and worth wanting. But here's the part that often goes unsaid. I also want it to pay me extremely well. And I think women of our generation were conditioned to be a bit embarrassed about that second part, to soften it, to say, I just want to feel fulfilled. I just want to make a difference. Which are true, but they're not the whole truth. The whole truth is that financial freedom is part of what we're looking for too. Because money at this stage of life isn't about luxury or greed or proving something. It's about options. It's about being able to say yes to the life you actually want rather than the one you can afford. And wanting both, the passion and the financial reward, isn't greedy, it's just honest. So when I think about all those attempts, the courses, the side hustles, the businesses, under all of it was this very specific hope that somewhere in the trying, I'll stumble across the intersection of two things. Something that lights me up and pays me well. That intersection, that's what I'm looking for. And not finding it yet doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Here's something else I've been sitting with lately. What if the trying isn't failing? Not in a toxic positivity sense. I find that kind of relentless reframing a little bit irritating, if I'm completely frank. But genuinely, what if the accumulation of all these attempts is doing something useful even when it doesn't feel like it? Because here's what I actually have from all of it. I understand how digital products work. I know how to build a basic website. I've thought seriously about what coaching means and whether it suits me. I've tried creative businesses and product businesses and service businesses. I've failed at enough things to know what questions to ask before I start the next one. That's actually a lot, even if none of it made me any money. I don't know yet if that means anything, but I'm noticing it. None of this feels like progress when you're in it. It feels like failure. But I wonder if it's more like orientation, slowly, sometimes painfully, working out what fits and what doesn't. What you're genuinely good at versus what you thought you'd be good at. What sustains you versus what excites you for 48 hours and then goes quiet. That's not nothing. That's actually quite important information. It just doesn't come with a certificate. Nobody hands you a breakthrough moment and says, there, that's what all the trying was for. It's quieter than that and harder to trust. I don't know where the trying is leading. I genuinely don't. And I'm aware that's not a very satisfying thing to say in a podcast that's supposed to be about finding your voice and stepping into your next chapter. But I think there's something more valuable in telling you the truth, which is that I'm in it with you. Still searching, still signing up for things, still hoping, still occasionally sitting with that deflation of something not working and asking yourself what the point is. Still being useful to everyone around me in ways that don't pay me a single penny. And still getting up and trying again. Not because I've found a system or cracked a code, but because somewhere underneath the restlessness is a very clear sense that there is something for me. Something that fits. Something that lights me up and pays me well and makes the searching feel worth it. And I'll tell you something else. Looking back at that list, the jewellery, the cake decorating, the digital art, all of it, I used to see failure. A long, embarrassing list of things that didn't work. But lately I'm starting to see it differently. I see a woman who never stopped trying, who kept showing up, who kept being curious even when curiosity didn't pay the bills. That woman isn't lost, she's just still looking. And if you're still looking too, if you're in the signing up and the starting and the hoping and the going flat and the starting again, you are not behind. You are not failing. You are not the only one. You're just still becoming, and so am I. Talk soon. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and follow the podcast so you never miss an update. The content of this and all podcast episodes is for general information and entertainment purposes only. It's not professional advice, counselling or therapy. Please consult a qualified professional for any personal, medical or psychological concerns.